I'm Emma Dovey, played for Manchester Thunder and also England.
And do you have a nickname, Emma?
The Dove.
Oh,
really.
Why is that? Oh, because of your last name, yeah.
Dovey, so the Dove, and at home I get called Hidge.
Because?
I've got a small head like a pigeon and it's just changed to Hidge.
Brilliant, I love those. So it looks like coverage of all sort of netball things is really picking up, and obviously it helps England have been doing well last year and the last couple of years. And this year we've got the Commonwealth Games, we've got the triseries next week, we've got you've got Sky Sports coverage of the Super League. How in your experience over the past few years, how have you seen netball change in terms of the media coverage?
I think it's obviously increased massively, and I think that gets people watching it who wouldn't normally come to games. So quite a lot of my friends who just flick on Sky Sports News or something like that, lads watching football, will say, "Oh, I've just seen your team on," and then they'll start watching netball, or they'll just flick over the channel and they'll see it. So obviously it gets people who wouldn't normally watch netball, because obviously teenage girls are the ones who will come to the games because they play it at school, they enjoy it, but lads won't really know what it is or enjoy it. So but just by them seeing it on the sports channels when they're wanting to watch football will just increase their awareness of it. And I think that's what I've seen increase the most. Just people who you would not expect watching netball will be like, "I saw you playing on TV last night," and you think, "Oh, I wouldn't expect you to watch netball." And most of them say, "Oh, I was just flicking through all the sports channels to see what was on," and then they end up watching the netball and quite enjoy it, and they say then they'll follow on through the season. So
yeah, it's good that, isn't it? Because for some reason, and it drives me insane, but in the past netball's really been like, oh, it's such a girl sport, and it's really, people have been really derogatory about it, particularly guys. "Oh, netball, you don't celebrate, you're not allowed to run with the ball," and you're just like, well, it's a sport, you know, there's loads of rules for all different sports. And actually one of my friends is captain of the men's England netball team. Have you seen them play at all?
Yeah, we did play against them a couple of years ago.
Did you?
It's quite an experience.
In what way?
They do quite a lot of slating. If you miss a shot or you don't get a rebound, they'll just look at you and go, and carry on. And you're like, "Oh, I should have got that."
Oh no, and did you beat them? That's the main thing.
I can't remember now. I think we did.
Let's just say you did. Yeah, thrashed them, I remember it well.
Yeah, but I think because of how boys see it when you're at school, obviously it's quite hard to pick up at school because you're not used to stopping when you've got the ball. And I know, like, I'm a PE teacher, so you know what the standard's like at most normal schools. So I think when the boys go and watch them, it's kind of like, what is this game? But obviously when the standard starts to get better, when you go up the school to like years 10 and 11 and also like onto unis and further up, then the standard increases, but then that's when the boys have already stopped watching it, because when they're in year 7 and 8, that's when it's not as high.
Starting next week is the tri-series. You're on the A team.
Yeah.
And that's against Jamaica and against New Zealand and England as well. Now that's at Wembley Arena and at the Copper Box at the London 2012 Old Olympic site. Please tell me that when you go to Wembley you're going to walk onto the court and go, "Hello Wembley!"
Probably. I hope so.
You've got to do it. It'll be hilarious. But to have netball in those venues would just be, you know, is amazing, and that's really got to help. You've already got the coverage of the Super League on Sky Sports. You've got those two amazing venues. You've got the Commonwealth Games, which we'll get to in a minute. So how have you seen netball change, and where do you see it going, particularly next year, which is going to be huge?
I think from when I started, the crowds were a couple of hundred at Super League games and probably 500 or 600 at internationals, and it wasn't particularly very many people at all. Last year we had about 6 or 7 sellouts at Super League, which is 1,200-1,300 people, and even the games that weren't sold out, there was still 600 or 700 every game. And obviously international games now are just massive. I think that's why we've got such good venues for this time, because they've all sold out previously. So it's obviously changed massively.
Can only get better and better, can't it?
And you can definitely tell as a player when we've had sellouts and it's been like an intense game, the crowd does really lift you. So I think as a player it really helps you as well.
Okay. And also, obviously, the big moment of the season is the fact that a league of their own are coming down. So you've got James Corden and you've got, what they're called, Freddie Flintoff.
Yeah, Jamie Redknapp.
Jamie Redknapp's coming, is he? Look at your face light up.
He's the only one I'm interested in.
What's the other one called? The comedian guy.
Oh, Jack Whitehall.
Yes,
and Laura Whitmore.
And you just can't begin to imagine what he's going to be wearing. But anyway, so they're going to come down next week, and that kind of thing can only, as again, big sort of celebrity-led show can only help with the interest in the sport.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm hoping we get to watch that because we're playing before it, so I don't think we will. But hopefully that will increase ticket sales as well for people who kind of want to see them and not the netball, but then will get into netball from it. So, I hope what people will get from it is how fast you guys play, and it's actually it's a hard sport, and you really have to be super fit and all of that. And I don't think that comes across as well on telly. I think that's why people sometimes think, oh, it's not that good, because when you watch on telly it does look a lot slower than it is when you're actually there watching it, whereas when you're there it's just like boom, boom, boom. And so hopefully, and especially if it gets put on a league of their own.
Yeah. I mean, as much as you guys are really tall, old Freddie's quite tall, isn't he? So I'm wondering, you'll have to do loads of like bouncing ones or something, try and get, I don't know, I just hope you whip them, that's all. I just want you to do that, that's all.
To be fair, if men get the footwork rule, they're really good at netball.
Oh no.
Pains me to say it.
Were you at the Sunday Times and Sky Sport Sportswoman of the Year awards? No. But the England netball team did win that team award, which was fantastic. And again, another
great year this year.
Yeah.
Well, we beat Australia for the first time in God knows how long, and we were unbeaten until I think the last test of the year. So it's a really good season.
How important do you think social media is now for the England netballers in terms of getting, you don't have to wait for the national newspapers now to give you coverage. You can, have live feeds on the England netball team website and that kind of thing. How important has social media been?
Yeah, I think it's massive. Like, obviously, it's free, which for netball is good because there isn't much money in it. So you can obviously tweet, Facebook, and everybody can get it. It can go out to however many followers you've got. Plus, if everybody retweets it, it can go out to thousands of people. So I think it's a good way of getting the message around, especially about fixtures and ticket sales and stuff that's going on.
Yeah, I have been looking at some of your tweets over Christmas, and there has been talk about Mars bar cakes and all sorts of things. I'm thinking,
Dave Clark made the best Mars bar cake at the weekend.
Nice, so you're sticking to a strict diet then, eh?
Yeah. It was Serena's birthday, so.
Oh, well, that's all good, isn't it? So for the Commonwealth Games, are you expecting to make the England team, or how do you expect us to get on in the Commonwealth Games, which will clearly be huge because it's still based in Britain, so we'll all be getting our flags out again?
I think we're going to do really well. I think our confidence as a team has built over the last, obviously, year because we've done so well. We've got the INTCs now, so we're training every single morning together. So I think that will obviously improve our play. So I think going into the Commonwealths, we're in good stead to get a medal.
And have you played in that sort of, as much as you'll be playing at Wembley Arena next week, have you played playing in that sort of atmosphere might help you with the actual craziness of people, because netball's not in the Olympics, which is annoying, but did you get to go to any of the London Games at all?
No, I didn't go down at all. But obviously when you play in Australia and New Zealand, there's crowds of like quite a few thousand there. I think once there was 12,000 at one of the games where I was, so it is massive over there. But obviously they're all cheering for the opposition. So hopefully in Glasgow there'll be more cheering for England. So
I would hope so. Well, we don't know in Glasgow, but hopefully.
It's quite near England though.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you.